We push on to the Jap air base.
World War II mail to military personnel often did not reach the intended addressee due to many factors, such as the person was missing, was captured and became a POW, or was killed in action, as well as a number of other situations. The cover being reviewed here was posted to an aircraft commander serving in the Pacific Theater of War. The cover was posted March the 21st, 1945 from Washington State, destined for the Mariana Islands in the Pacific, identified as APO 237. Mail addressed to U.S. military personnel serving in the Pacific Theater usually was addressed to an APO number, in this case APO number 237, and such mail is usually routed through San Francisco. The cover used the 12-cent airmail rate, as seen here. However, the use of a single 12-cent stamp, Scott number 817, on such a cover is somewhat scarce. Usually 2 6-cent U.S. transport stamps, Scott number C25, would be used instead. We know the cover reached the Mariana Islands by the receiving APO marking on the back of the envelope. We should now look briefly at wartime events of the Mariana Islands from 1943 to 1945. The Marianas, a chain of islands consisting primarily of Saipan, Tinian, and Guam, were considered ideal bases from which to launch B-29 operations against Japan. The islands were about 1,300 miles from Tokyo, a range which the B-29s could just about manage. However, in 1943, the Marianas were firmly under Japanese control. On October the 4th, 1943, General Henry Arnold approached the Joint Planning Staff with a proposal for the seizure of the Marianas at the earliest possible date as bases for the B-29s. The Battle of Saipan lasted from the 15th of June 1944 to the 9th of July 1944, when the fighting officially ceased. With the capture of Saipan, the American military was now only 1,300 miles away within striking distance for the United States B-29 bombers. Flight Commander First Lieutenant Paul Shafrath and his crew of 11 men would fly bombing missions over parts of Japan from the Marianas. Louise Shafrath wrote to Paul, her brother, on March the 3rd, 1945, at a time that the Marianas were firmly in U.S. hands, and the tone of the letter indicates that she fully expected things to be fine for Paul. Here is the beginning and end of the letter.
Dear Paul, I've just been making a small dent in a big house cleaning job. I concentrate on the Saipan to Japan news nowadays. So much has been happening just in the last few weeks, one can hardly grasp it all. I hope you have enough time between trips to get well rested. It must be a terrific strain, but a satisfying experience, and that you know you are making a spectacular record. The responsibility, when one thinks of lives lost, I think we all share. Some better way of settling things will be found someday. In the meantime, I guess we can only do our best with the methods at hand. Any news about the number of raids you have to go on? With such long trips, I'd think the quota would be less. I'm glad and proud you've had such good success, and your experience will surely mean a lot. Nevertheless, I want plenty of luck to go along with it. Love, Louise.
When the cover reached the Marianas, the missing marking was applied, a rather scarce marking. The return cover went via Hawaii, seen by the verified rectangle box BPO 15, applied in Hawaii. Such a term as missing would certainly be bad news. The uncertainty, and in most cases, meant captured and taken prisoner or killed in action. The truth of the matter was that Shafrath and his crew, while on a bombing mission over Japan, crashed on March the 25th near Nagoya, Japan, and that all crew members died. Although the cover had arrived on April the 18th, 1945 in the Marianas, verification of the crew's fate was unknown when the mail was returned to Louise. Likely she had to wait some time before receiving the fateful news.